Okay, the question I have for you is, what should I build next? So, as my regular viewers know, what I've been doing is going through my decks, deciding which ones are for Astruzna, which is a more aggressive, combo-rich, unforgiving environment, versus Prague, which is more casual. The lads play a lot of precons, a lot of unmodified precons, but the good ones, the ones they're issuing now, the ones that are effective, tuned, and win games. So, going through my collection, so far I've pulled a zombie out. What I have is 5 long boxes, each with 5 decks, 5 commander decks. 2 don't count because they're just the Lord of the Rings precons that I've modified, and those are for Prague. Those cannot stand up to Astruzna, so those are out of the question. Leaves 17 decks. I've already pulled a zombie out, put her in a special box for Astruzna. What I want to do is have a box of 3 cards, 3 decks, 3 cards, yeah, 3 decks, that when I go to Astruzna, I just grab that box and go. I don't have to pull anything out of my other decks, other boxes, don't have to wonder, is this going to get me killed quickly? Is this deck going to stand up or not? Only have decks that I know will stand up. So far zombie. I'm pretty sure Shroom will be put in there. The lads here in Prague don't like playing against Shroom, even though I've made her more of a creature attack deck. I've taken out the infinite combos, taken out the Disciple of the Vault. For Astruzna, I would put that back in. I would put back in Disciple of the Vault. I would make it a dirty combo deck. So if I take out Azami and Shroom, then there would be a third deck that I can either build, and I'm thinking I would rebuild Brago as the asshole, blink, super combo Brago that nobody likes to play against, but would be good for Astruzna. So I've got 2 slots open. I've got 1 slot open now, and I've got potentially another slot. So here's what I'm thinking. Here are the constraints. The constraints are, I only want to use cards that I have, at least 90%. 90% of each deck should be cards I already own. I only want to buy 10 cards per deck that I don't have. For example, if I build Teysa, adjust this a bit, black-white tokens, black-white clerics, I would want a Jhoira Stronghold. I don't have an extra one. I would want Grave Titan and Sun Titan. I don't have those right now, so those would be 3 out of the 10 right off the bat. The other constraints are I don't want to build any color combination I already have. I want to build new color combinations. So I don't have a black-white deck, I don't have a blue-red deck, I don't have a green-red deck. So those are the 3 I'm thinking of. Black-green I don't have, but Muldratha and Korvald both fill that space. They both occupy the space where a black-green deck would fit. So I don't really want to build a black-green deck because it would just feel like a bastardized version of Muldratha or a bastardized version of Korvald. So here's what I have. Here's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of rebuilding my Teysa Orders of Scion deck. So she is a 1 black, 1 green, 1 white. So 3 CMC, 2/3 Human Advisor. I can sack 3 white creatures and exile a creature from the game. Whenever a black creature control dies, I get a 1/1 white spirit creature token, so it feeds into itself. What I have for her so far is, of course, Teysa as the commander. I have Athreos, God of Passage, so 3 CMC, Indestructible God, 5/4. As long as my devotion to black and white is less than 7, he's not a creature, he's just an enchantment. Whenever another creature I own dies, return it to my hand unless target opponent plays 3 life. So that fits Teysa pretty good. Sacrifice a white creature, and if it's a card, not a token, I would get it back unless I target somebody and they pay 3 life. Then Teysa Karlov. So creature dying causes triggered ability or permanent you control the trigger. Triggers an additional time. That could be really interesting. My tokens get vigilance and lifelink, so it feeds into the token theme. I could make her the commander, but that requires a lot more thought, requires a lot more planning. Making Teysa Orders of Scion the commander is pretty easy. The least, Reverend Medium, 5 for a 3/4 human cleric. At the beginning of each end step, I basically double my tokens. So if I cast Grave Titan, or attack with Grave Titan, for example, during my turn, at the end of that turn, I will get 2 1/1 flying white spirit tokens. So if I can double that somehow, say Anointed Procession, when Grave Titan triggers, that would be 4 zombies, and at the end of the turn I get 4 white 1/1 flyers, which I can sacrifice to Teysa. Edgewalker. If I go clerics, if I go with a cleric sub-theme, this guy would definitely be in there. Again, 3 CMC for a 2/2 cleric. My cleric spells cost black and white less to play. It doesn't reduce colorless mana, only reduces the colored, which is interesting. Most of these effects reduce the colorless mana. He decides to take down the colored. So for example, Aura here would cost 2 colorless if Edgewalker's in play. And what does he do? So he is a 3/3 core cleric with a lifelink. Whenever he or another cleric I control dies, I can return a cleric with lesser CMC from a graveyard to the battlefield. So again, fits the theme of Teysa Orso Scion. And he works well with Teysa Karlov. So when a creature dies, I would get to take 2 clerics with lesser CMC from our graveyard to the battlefield. Let me make sure that works. So, creature dying causes triggered abilities. Triggered ability triggers an additional time, so that would be another card. Yeah, I like it. He would not be a companion, but if I'm doing black-white, I can just slide in Lurrus. Doesn't fit any of the themes really. Doesn't fit the cleric theme, doesn't fit the token theme, but I get to cast a permanent with CMC 2 or less from our graveyard. So any of my clerics that cost 2 CMC, if I have any kind of enchantments, such as Angelic Renewal, I can get it back easily with Lurrus of the Dream Den. I'd also slide in Deathbringer Liege, 2 triple black or triple white in any combination thereof. My white creatures get bigger, my black creatures get bigger. My black-white creatures get really bigger, +2/+2. Whenever I play a white spell, I can tap a target creature. Whenever I play a black spell, I can destroy a tapped. So if I play a black-white spell, I can destroy a creature. Revos, Soul Tender. 3 black-white for legendary human cleric. Flying, my other creatures get bigger, +1/+1. So he works good with the leech. And at the beginning of my upkeep, I may return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand. So maybe I wouldn't need for a stronghold. If I have enough recursion, then it might be superfluous. The other deck I'm thinking of, and I'll put this link in the comments as to my previous build of Jhoira. So Jhoira, I had before, and it quit working. She no longer functioned the way I had her built, because I couldn't defend myself early enough in the game, because I was trying to lean on her ability to put big scary things to the time screen. So what does she do? One blue, 1 red for a 2/2 human wizard. So she's small, she can be killed pretty easily, and she usually is. I don't want to run her out unless I have 5 mana available. So in effect she costs 5, because I don't want to play her and have her get killed right away, and me not being able to slide something into the time stream in response. So 2, put a 9-line card in your hand from the game, put 4 time counters on it, so it's suspended for 4 turns. In practice, what happened is I would run her out, throw something in the time stream, my opponents see it, and they all come after me because they know they have 4 turns to kill me, and they don't have to worry about whatever I put in the time stream. Or they just start attacking me. And because the deck doesn't have a lot of early ways to defend myself, the early ways to defend myself were not coming up, or they were insufficient, I got killed. So Jhoira, at a certain point, quit winning games, so I broke her up. What I'm thinking now is do something like Hirobi. So Hirobi is in a similar position where the previous build, relying on him and using his ability to destroy my opponent's creatures, stopped working. The new build of Hirobi works really well. The new build of Hirobi is big black bastards, and Hirobi only comes down when I need him, when I'm ready for him. The deck does not revolve around him. He supplements the deck. He enhances the deck. So what if I did with Jhoira? What if I built Jhoira so she sits there in the command zone, and when I'm ready, I can bring her down. I can have smaller creatures. I can have more ways to defend myself. I can have more lower CMC things that are relevant to the game, and only worry about her when I want to cast something big. And I'm not worried about waiting 4 turns, like Omniscience here. So I no longer have to pay mana cost for my cards, so therefore Jhoira becomes superfluous. It's an idea. It's something I'm thinking about. The idea of Jhoira, if I were to build her, would be direct damage. So a lot of things with direct damage. Chandra here deals direct damage to creature only 1 point, but I'm thinking ways to expand that. Basically fork. -2 when I cast my next instant sorcery, copy it, so I can double my spells. And then 6 damage to 6 target creatures or players for her ultimate. That's pretty good. And I'm just thinking of her as an idea right now. Price of Glory. Whenever a player taps land for mana during another player's turn, destroy that land. This isn't good with counterspells. Not at all. But the other idea is, what if I didn't build blue-red? What if I built green-red? I don't have a green-red deck. What if I use Roxanne, Starfall Savant, as a green-red commander, and use green for ramp, and red for destruction? Red to take things out, and green to get the mana to pump up my destructive spells. Another idea. So I would definitely put in Fire Emancipation. Source Sector will deal damage. Your opponent player deals triple that damage instead. Yeah. Kind of a high casting cost, but if I'm doing direct damage, I need to increase the damage. Speaking of direct damage, Jessica Warrior Adept, 4, 3/1 first strike, Hasty Barbarian Legend. Tap, deals 1 point again, 1 point of damage is not very impressive, is not very interesting, but if I get Fire Emancipation out, I can tap her and Lightning Bolt something. Speaking of triple damage, what if I did 9 points of damage for tapping a creature? What if I got Kamal Pit Fighter out behind Fire Emancipation? Again, I'm thinking green-red is going to be a better idea for this strategy, because blue and red don't have much ramp. Most of it is through artifacts. So if I did green-red and I had a lot of green ramp, then I can get more lands into play, get Kamal into play, Fire Emancipation, and so on. J. Ballard, Task Mage, he'd be in there in a direct damage deck. So 1 colorless, red for a 2/2 human spell shaper. Red tap, discard a card. That's why I squeeze in here, so I can discard him and get him back. Destroy target blue permanent, so I would want something like Distorting Lens. Distorting Lens changed the color of a permanent, so I can destroy it. I can make it blue. I'm going to do part 2 of this. Alright, so where I left off, I was talking about J. Ballard, Distorting Lens. Probably should have grabbed the Distorting Lens. I took a pause so I could grab another card. Squee, beginning of upkeep, if he's in my graveyard, return my hand, so he works well with J. Ballard. And somebody else. Commander Master Yamabushi. I've always liked Kamano. I like the idea of him. I like the art. I like the feel of the card. He just doesn't really fit into a lot of my decks. Mainly it's because you spend 2 and he only deals 1 point of damage. But if he kills a creature, or if a creature would die otherwise after he's pinged it, it gets exiled. So it can take care of some problems. If I do big damage, if I do direct damage, either Jhoira, blue-red, or Roxanne, green-red, Commander should be part of it. The reason I took a pause is to go get her. I forgot about her, forgot to pull her out. A lot of you probably haven't seen her, wondering what the hell is this. So 3 red for a 3/3 spell shaping legend. X and a red to get started, X whatever you spend. Throw away 2 cards, and she deals X damage to target creature or player. So again, big damage card. And those are the ideas that I have. So as I've been going through this, I'm pretty much set on the black-white. So I am going to build black-white. I'm going to build cleric token, some flavor of black-white. I'm pretty sold on that idea. I'm going to do that. And the question then is, should I go blue-red, given that blue-red has a lot of weaknesses as far as mana production, as far as ramp? I'd have to rely on artifacts for almost all of it, which sometimes is a liability. Or should I go green-red and have Roxanne, or recommend somebody else? If you think I should go green-red with this direct damage idea, and you don't think Roxanne is a good commander, recommend somebody else. I'm open to it. If that's the question, what do you want to see me build? What would you like to see me go through, build, and discuss? Blue-red Jhoira, maybe blue-red somebody else, or green-red Roxanne, or another commander. Keep in mind that the core strategy would likely be the same. Generate mana and deal direct damage to creatures or players. I've tried that before and it didn't quite work, but I think now maybe I have the tools for it. Maybe I can do it, maybe I can pull it off. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts.